Over the years, as Battlefield has shifted more towards a live service and battle passes, I think the franchise has lost some of its identity and focus. Battlefield has always been about maps, weapons, and large-scale combined arms combat, and that's where the series has built its reputation. But with modern live service models, we are getting fewer maps and weapons, while more emphasis is placed on cosmetics and limited time modes. Today I want to break down why I don't think that shift has worked and what they could do to better their service moving forward. To start, the focus just doesn't seem to be in the right areas. Instead of delivering substantial content, we're being drip-fed updates that largely are centered around cosmetics or temporary modes. Yes, we've gotten some maps and weapons, but not even close to what we've received in past Battlefield titles. One of the biggest draws of Battlefield for me has always been the sandbox experience, that variety when it comes to the different maps and weapons. The problem with limited time modes is that they don't provide long-term replayability. They might bring in a short-term boost in player numbers, but once the mode is gone, there's no lasting impacts, and that's assuming that the mode was worthwhile to begin with. Now, that's not what keeps people coming back to Battlefield over the months and years. It's the content that is there daily. I personally feel like live service tends to work better for smaller scale games or even more single-player type focused experiences. There are exceptions. Games like Art Creators have seemed to handle their live service fairly well, but that's a different game entirely. Battlefield's scale and sandbox requires a different approach. When it comes to battle passes, this is where I think things start to fall apart even more so. In some ways, battle passes feel like a ripoff. You're paying for content that isn't actually guaranteed unless you have the time to grind through the entire pass. I do appreciate systems where you can earn enough in-game currency to unlock the next pass, but this again assumes that you finish it, which isn't realistic for everybody. And the inability to go back and forth to complete older battle passes just ends up locking players out of content entirely. Now, I'm not saying that live service and battle passes can't work in Battlefield. I think they absolutely can, but they need to be adjusted to fit the game and its community. For battle passes specifically, I think the solution is simple. If somebody pays for the pass, they should receive all of its content regardless of how far they progress before the season ends. Another option would be to allow players to go back and complete previous battle passes. That would also give new players a chance to buy and complete older passes if they wanted to. As for the in-game currency, that could be limited to active seasons only. You could still complete the older pass, but you wouldn't earn currency from it any longer. When it comes to the live service seasons as a whole, I think the focus needs to shift back to what Battlefield community actually wants. Ideally, I'd like to see something like 4 to 6 weapons per season and at least 4 maps. Even if this means a mix of new maps and classic maps brought back from older Battlefield games, I think that would still mean a significant amount of content that people would enjoy. Battlefield 2042 already showed that bringing back older maps is possible. Even something like 2 new maps and 2 returning maps per season would go a long way to restoring the variety and replayability for Battlefield 6. At the end of the day, I don't think Battlefield needs to reinvent itself. The foundation has always been there when it comes to the maps, the weapons, the large-scale combat. The question isn't whether Battlefield can work as a live service, it's whether the focus is actually on what people need to fall in love with the series in the first place. Now, I am curious to know how other players feel about this. Do you think live service and battle passes are helping the franchise or holding it back? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you on the next one. RAMTEID out.